So me and my colleague got a 112 emergency call about an assault. We drive to the scene. My colleague takes the victim, and I talk to a witness. This witness said that the suspect name is John, and he's a neighbor and lives across the street. So my colleague stayed with the victim to get more information, and I walked across the street to the suspect house. And it was this yellow house with bricks. And I knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. An elderly lady opened the door, and I said, "Hi, do you have anyone named John who lives here?" And she sighs and said, "Yeah, it's my son. What has he done now?" And she let me into the house. Now I stood in the hallway, and in front of me was these old wooden stairs that went down to a basement. John's mother stood on top of these stairs and yelled, "John, the police is here!" Then I hear this angry voice from the basement saying, "Fuck the police." I said, perfect. John seemed nice. Then I hear these heavy steps going up the stairs from the basement. Boom, boom, boom. And I asked John's mother, in the most polite way I could, "How big is your son?" She looked at me with a straight face and said, "Big," and walked away like if she was saying, "Good luck." And I needed backup. So I pressed my radio for backup, but all I heard in my ear was, beep. I can't come through. At the same time, these heavy steps come closer and closer, and now I hear John again. "Why don't they take all the immigrants and Muslims instead?" Yeah, John's gonna be so excited to see me. Perfect. Now I see John's head. It's a big head. This angry face with this red cap, way too small cap on his head, that said, "You know what? I'll get back to that soon. Let me talk a little bit about myself, because that's why you're here." I grew up in Helsingborg, southern of Helsingborg, called Söder. You know, Söder has different names. I've heard the Middle Eastern of Sweden, the Arab city, the vulnerable city, the violent city. But for me growing up, I have good childhood memories. I grew up in a big family with 5 siblings. And for people with different backgrounds, things, that's a small family. But with Swedish culture, I think, well, that's a big family. Well, it's a big family with a lot of personalities. And it's a blessing, but also a challenge, because everybody has an opinion. And as a middle child, I have to hear about the older opinions and the younger ones. So to be able to navigate the culture, the dynamics of my family, I got myself a weapon. And you see, that weapon, as I grew older, was the cornerstone of my career as a police officer to handle different situations. One December, early morning, my boss called when I was working. And he said, "Look, I need your help. We have this man we arrested. We have to take him to the hospital. I need a transport." I said, "Fine, we'll do it." He said, "Yeah, but we haven't been able to do it for 2 hours now because he's really aggressive." I said, "Okay, well, we'll give it a try." He said, "Yeah, this is like the last try. Or we have to call for the bigger muscles." The bigger muscles? What are you talking about? I train. Either way, me and my colleague bought this small aisle to the arrest. Outside the cell, there was 4 officers. They opened the first security door and the second one. And I took one step in. There's the guy laying on bed with blanket over his head. And I said, "Good morning, sir. Me and my colleague are going to transport you to hospital for a blood sample." They took that blanket and threw it on the ground, stood on the bed with his fist up and said, "I'm not going anywhere." And I looked at him, "I understand you don't want to go. This is an order. I can do anything about it. We have to go." And he said, "Do you want to fight?" I said, "I'd rather not." I hate violence. It's early in the morning, man. Come on. Then he said, Wallah, marayeh, which means in Arabic, I swear, I won't go. And you see, communication comes from Latin, and it means finding something in common. And I found something in common with this angry man. We both spoke Arabic. Perfect. And I said, you speak Arabic? Yeah. What can you say more? He said a couple of lines. It's like, wow. Yeah, I learned that when I was in prison. Good for you. You speak very good. Wow, amazing. And without him realizing it, he sat down on the bed with his hands on his knees and started telling me all about it, how he learned Arabic. Perfect, he's calm. Then I said, look, we really have to go now. And you seem like a nice guy now, but you've been aggressive, so for our safety, I have to put some gloves on you, okay? Handcuffs. And he said, then he stood up, looked at me. And one thing about being a police officer is be able to play the role, okay? You have to be good at acting. Because before I walked into that cell, my mindset was self-defense because he was aggressive. So I had my pepper spray on my left hand, but behind my back, but he never saw it. And I thought, when I looked at him, if he comes close and tries anything, I'm gonna kick him in the nuts. But he didn't know, because I was so calm. That's what I thought. Same thing about giving him compliments. He spoke terrible Arabic. He was terrible, but I convinced him that he was good. We found a connection. So he stood up, and I'm thinking, oh no. But then he turned around, did this, and said, I understand. So I put the handcuffs on him. I looked at my colleagues to the right. Their faces was like this. And inside, I was like, but on the outside, I was like, yeah, Mona Flusada, what do you think? This is easy. We transported him, he took the blood samples, everything went fine. We came back into the cell, I take off his handcuffs. He turns around, lifts his arm, but this time with an open hand to shake mine. And he said, thank you. So did I save this guy's life? Hell no. He was arrested a week later. And I think he's in prison as we speak, but maybe he's learning Arabic, I don't know. But the important thing is, I took a violent situation and made it non-violent. I found something in common with this criminal. That's the most important thing. We all got home safe. Nobody was injured. Now, if we go back, the giant baby in the basement, now he stands just the last stairs. And he looked pissed off. You see the red cap, you know what it said? Make America great again. I was like, just my luck. Thank you. As that wasn't hard enough for me right now. And he started kicking doors, hitting walls, and just screaming. And I thought, yeah, but I'll use my weapon again, like I did 3 weeks ago with the guy in the arrest. So I tried calmly. Please, can you, sir, calm down? I want to hear your side of the story. I understand you're mad. Please calm down. Nothing worked. He walked into the bedroom. I walked after him because I didn't know what he had, if he had something he wanted to hurt me with. So I walked after him for my safety. And he started kicking and screaming there as well. And I tried calmly to speak to him. But I realized the more calm I was, the more aggressive he got. And I couldn't understand why. It worked the last time. And now, we're standing face to face. Well, actually, more my face to his chest, because he was huge, so yeah. And he started to scream. And imagine, okay, this is a small bedroom. I'm alone. I can't go through to my colleagues. It's a huge guy, and he's aggressive. And all I'm thinking is, I want my mom. I'm so scared right now. But again, poker face. So I looked at him, and he's screaming and screaming, and I thought, man, it reminds me of something. I looked at him, and he's just mad. Like, it reminds me of a big baby. with that little cap on that big head. And I realized I've been using the wrong bullets for my weapon. I needed to change the bullets. So I got my mama bullets. And I pushed him down the bed. And I said, "Be quiet!" Now we're face to face when he's sitting down. And I said, "What is wrong with you? You're an adult and you're acting like a child. If you want respect, you have to earn it." And he looked at me and said, "Yeah, but can you be quiet for a moment so I can explain why I'm here?" I said, "Yeah." So I lowered my tone and said, "Perfect. Can we speak as adults now?" "Yeah." "Good." A second later, he starts to cry. I made this big baby cry. My mama heart was, should I comfort him? But as a police, I was like, man, act. So you start to cry. Yet again, a violent situation to non-violent. And I did that with the greatest weapon of all. Not the one on my hip, but with my words, my tone, my body language, and one push, but nobody got injured. That's what I did. You see, those two situations is like, it shows communication isn't a straight way. There's different ways you can use it. In those type of situations that I handled, that I talked about, it's about finding the pattern. And I took those patterns and I changed it. I did something they're not used to. I yelled at one and I complimented one. They're not used to it. So I shook the system. You see, those type of situation we handled a lot as my career as a police officer. Many times. Only last year, we handled 1.2 million types of situation like this. 1.2 million. 31 of them, we used our gun. And that includes warning shots. And you would think this is good. This is something you learn in the police academy. Well, it's not, actually. Unfortunately, I'm going to be a little bit critical. They're going to be so happy, my colleagues. But I don't care. Because we learn a lot about how to shoot, how to handle our gun, how to put handcuffs, how to yell at people in violent situations. But out of this 1.2 million situation we handled, we only used the gun 31 times. What did we do with the rest? We used communication. So why is that? We don't use it as this effective tool and learn about it when we handle the majority of times our words, our body, our tone. You see, communication is a thing, finding something in common, right? And everyone here, we do something different. We work with something else. We have different backgrounds. All the speakers talked about different topics. But we all have something in common, right? We're talking, we're using words. So why is that we didn't learn that in police academy? Well, I think often people see communication as a weakness, especially in my line of work. They see a police officer with violence, and violence is the only way to set boundaries. That's how you show you're a good police officer, by earning respect with violence. But I don't believe that. I think you use violence when you're failing at communication. Because if you think about it, if you really, really think about it, violence starts war. Communication prevents it.